Wanderlust. A strong desire or urge to wander or travel and explore the world.
We haven't gone very far. Just, I can still hear the highway down there from Ocoee. And this is really the first trail obstacle we've come to. It's not a huge deal. It's just a blowdown. I imagine we're gonna see quite a few of them with the wind we've had the last few days. Bunch of old carved writing in this tree. A couple dates on there look like, see 9/27. Looks like 9/27/2008 and 12/6/2010, 1/27/2012. So most of these are older. Alright, so got the water on to boil for coffee. I use instant coffee because I don't want to carry a press or none of that. Alright, so looking at the book, whatever I said earlier about trying to make it to Lost Creek and then getting water and then going on, that's not going to be possible because Lost Creek would be probably about as far as I'd be able to make it today. First good, or the best views I've had so far, looking north, so that's pretty good. Oh, come here, Lags. Lagatha, come here. So I had to end that pretty abruptly. I walked up on a hunter. He actually was walking back to his vehicle. Luckily, he was pretty cool and he gave me some information, because I would have most definitely took the wrong trail. But he was telling me the update on the hunting around here. Looks like I'm good probably for the rest of this trip. I didn't even consider looking at Tennessee state regulations and Tennessee state hunts. I knew there wasn't any hunts other than archery on the other side of the Ocoee, but over here apparently there's a muzzleloader hunt going on right now, and that's what he was out here doing. He was out here yesterday and today, and he was headed back to the truck. So I asked him if he thought there might be anybody else out here, and he said no. But he said that once I get over to Lost Creek on the Tellico side, that a lot more people hunt out that way. So hopefully, hopefully not, because I didn't bring an orange vest or an orange hat or anything. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But hopefully, as long as I stay on trail, I don't start getting off trail, it shouldn't be a huge issue. There's a lot of animosity between hikers and hunters on public land, and I try not to be in the middle of that because I do both. So I understand both sides, both issues. You know, I understand the hunter's argument and I also understand the hiker's argument. We just got to learn to share this land together and everybody be as safe as they can doing it. So I've been coming downhill for a while, probably the last mile or so, skirting this ridge. This is a pretty nice view. It looks like they probably used to, this was a makeshift bench, so this probably didn't used to be as grown up. Looking back out, that's gonna be west. And I'm hoping, I'm trying not to get in my head, but that old hunter that I talked to told me this was the way to go. He said this would bring me right down to a deep gap power line, which is what the book tells me to do. However, I haven't seen any blazes in probably 2 miles. And I don't know, I did cross over into national forest, so maybe that's part of that thing I was talking about earlier where they're not allowed to blaze inside the national forest. So at this point, I'm just following this trail, and it is, I mean, I can definitely tell that people walk it. And so far, everything he said is true. He said there'd be an old road bed back there, which there was. He said you drop down and climb back up a little and drop down again, which I have. And he said you'll eventually drop down into the power line, that deep gap, and then you'll skirt around and come out on Kimsey Mountain Highway, which is what I'm looking for. So hopefully that'll be pretty soon. I've got about 6 to 7 more miles to walk. Got to get those miles in. I'm hoping there's some water before I get to Lost Creek, as I'm running pretty low already, and I brought almost 3 liters. I haven't really drinking all that much. I haven't really drank all that much, but she stays thirsty, so I've been giving her a lot of water. I brought 2 bottles, and then I bought 2 soft pouches for the Sawyers that were full. And I'm already down to about a bottle and a half left. So if it's not too bad and it cools on down, I'll make the decision if I want to push on to Lost Creek without water. She'll be able to get all she wants out of the creek. We'll have a nice dinner, rebuild up some of our calories we've burned off, get our energy back before we go to bed. I think we made it to Deep Gap, and this is the Deep Gap power lines that the book was talking about. So now the goal is going to be to find the trail, and it looks like probably over there I see a sign up in the corner. There's a Forest Service fence. So this is the first blaze that I've seen in probably 4 or 5 miles. And that definitely means that the trail turns. It's just a matter of which way now. I can't imagine that it goes back that way. If I'm not mistaken, the book said east. Nope. I see the trail marker blaze, thankfully. So this is probably one of the best views. Come on, pup. Probably one of the best views I'm gonna get until I get the buck bald. I could be wrong, but old Forest Service road here. Guess I should have skirted up here first. Well, bushes are still kind of tall, but I'm high enough I can see over the bushes. Okay, looks like Benton Mackaye Trail, Kimsey Mountain Crossing, 1.4 miles, 3.8 to McFarland Road. So I don't remember reading about McFarland Road in the guidebook, but this is obviously the right direction, so here we go. So I guess if they're not allowed to mark trees, they mark the rocks. Double diamond means it turns. The trail obviously goes to the right. None of this looks that worn, like maybe it hadn't been walked. Well, this kind of does, but this over here looks like it hasn't been walked in probably a little while. And of course, as soon as I top the hill, there's a couple blazes on trees, so maybe that theory's out the door. Who knows why they didn't have that other section marked that well, but hopefully this one will be marked a little better. I'm hearing things. Sounds like running water, but the wind's also blowing, which can trick you to thinking that it's the water sometimes. But I don't remember seeing any water sources in the book in this area, but a lot of this is also seasonal, so maybe it would be nice. I would definitely stop and fill up my soft pouches. Made it to, I guess this is the second crossing of Kimsey Mountain highway / road. It's, the name says highway, but it's really just a Forest Service road. But this road looks far less traveled than the road I crossed earlier at Deep Gap. I have been on Kimsey Mountain Highway before, but I'm not sure that I've been to this exact spot. I mentioned earlier we brought my truck up and drove around during the day. It was in the winter time. We actually got snowed on a little bit that day, but I don't remember specifically coming to this exact area. So now, and also I'm not sure about their mileages. The sign back there said 1.6 miles. My watch is telling me that I've only gone, I don't know, that might be right, 1.4, 1.5. A couple little tenths of a mile off, isn't a huge deal. I can't expect the sign or my watch to be exact, but they're both ballpark, so that's good enough. So I got another, looks like probably 5 miles still ahead of me to go. Getting later and later, pushing 4 o'clock now. By what they say, I should be able to make it, and I'm not sure if I'm feeling up to it now. The food that I ate for lunch is already wearing off, and I'm already getting a little more worn down. Some big tracks in here. Looks like that's a pretty good sized deer track right there. There was a dog track back there. I'm not sure if it's domestic, fox, or coyote, but the guy that I talked to, the hunter that I ran up into earlier, mentioned that there are bears in the area, but they're not very, they're pretty scared of humans is what I'm trying to say. Well, losing my words there. But he said that they're going to do a hog and bear hunt up here with dogs next week. That all the hog sign's old, but this right here is fresh. So I've also got hogs out here to deal with. It's okay. Honestly, I'm more worried about hogs than I am bear. Hogs will charge you for no reason. Bears will usually run the other way. There's I can see the creek down there. It's right by that tree that's down. And I can hear it over here. This must be the area that I was going to originally stay at, which would have been, give me just a second. Let me look here. Piney Flats Branch. This is exactly mile 100 from Springer Mountain. I thought it was more than that. But according to the guidebook, this is mile 100 from Springer Mountain. So that's pretty cool. Piney Flats Branch. This is just a very small creek, but it is super clear. Yeah, there you go. Blaze across the way. There was a really nice camp spot over here. It's really making me question if I just want to camp here or if I want to keep pushing on. So it says sunset's gonna be at 6:50 tonight, which means it probably won't be dark until just a tad after 12. I mean, just a tad after 7. It's 4:25 now. 6:25 puts me at 6:25 puts me at 4 more miles, and so then 7 o'clock would put me at 5 miles, give or take. So I would be just pushing dark. I've got a headlamp, and I've got my GoPro light. So I think I'm gonna make a push for Lost Creek. It's an established campground. If I'm not mistaken, there is picnic tables there, which would be awesome to help with cooking dinner and stuff. That's not a luxury that you get very often out here. Starting to get pretty dark over here in these woods. Sun's dropping below the highest point because I'm pretty low down in here. I mean, I'm at like 1,300 feet, which is basically what I started out at this morning. So I started out at 1,500 feet. I climbed almost all the way to 3,000 feet, and then I dropped all the way back down to 1,300. And I'm only gonna drop more from here. From what I've seen in the elevation profile, I shouldn't be climbing up or down a whole lot more. And from what it's looking like, what I'm doing right now is I'm probably gonna follow this valley that's over here on my right, which is Pine Flats branch. Most likely, it seems like I'm gonna follow it probably all the way to whatever the McFarland Road was, and then I'm thinking that that's probably gonna be where I find the campground, but only time will tell. Well, my theory was sort of right. We followed this valley. That's flat, Piney Flats branch down there. That's a Forest Service road, I'm assuming Kimsey Mtn. And the creek does flow right under it, but it's not where we're headed. I guess we're gonna head back up and skirt around and probably drop down to the road some other place. So now what we've actually done is we made a U on the trail at the forest road, and we came right back up Piney Flats branch past where we crossed from the valley on the other side, and now we're headed up the valley with it. So this isn't no little valley either. If you needed to go down there to get water, it's gonna be quite a trip. Best thing would have been to have just gotten water when you crossed it a little bit earlier. And apparently I was wrong about climbing back up in elevation. We've already climbed over 100 foot from when I said that a while ago, and it looks like we're still going up, but it can't be too much further up because according to the guidebook we dropped down below 1,000 or right at 1,000 for the campground. So maybe we're just gonna climb this little knob right here on my right and then drop off the back side of it back down into another valley. This the hunter I talked to earlier said that this side of the valley was used more, but could have fooled me. It doesn't look like anybody's walked here in a long time. Well, I don't remember if this is another one of the spots that I had considered camping at. They consider this a wildlife clearing or viewing area in the guidebook. It's supposed to stay over there for the trail, but oddly enough, I guess this road, I don't know, it looks like something's been up in here rolling around and such. So I came out at this road. I just came from up there, and I was super confused about where I was supposed to be at. I guess she's finding the gravel to be cool. No cars right now, so she's fine. But anyways, I was really confused about where I'm supposed to be at, and of course there's no blazes that I can immediately see, so pulled out the map, pulled out the book, matched up some Forest Service road numbers, ended up finding out where I was at, and I've still got a little piece to hike before I get to Lost Creek, which is what I'm looking for. So this is the wildlife clearing that I was reading about in the book. The one that I was at just a little bit ago was the wrong one I was thinking of. I just came up from there. I believe we got to go over there. Again, there's no blazes, or there was no blazes, so after I looked at my map, according to what the book said, I'm right. And then I found this, so that just makes me think I am right, but still haven't walked by any blazes yet, so. But this seems to be the right way, and I'm guessing I've got about another 2.5 or maybe 3 miles. I should be walking up into Lost Creek, hopefully right before, hopefully not too late into the darkness. I'd like to get camp and stuff set up beforehand, and I'm starving, so I gotta get a decent meal cooked up tonight, get some calories back in myself, get some calories back in me. Book says skirt the field. I could go that way or this way, so we're just gonna take this way. I didn't see any exits on the other side of the other clearing just up that I just came from, so hopefully this is right. I'm actually not sure where I'm at or what's going on. This is a wildlife clearing area as the guidebook describes, and it goes back that way to another wildlife clearing area, but I've walked the whole perimeter of both of these areas and I can't find a trail out of here. No white blazes anywhere. I had to have taken a wrong turn, so I'm gonna hike all the way back down to the gravel road where the gate is, where I know the trail is, and then reevaluate, because I couldn't figure out anything with the map. And then I pulled up my GPS on my phone, and it shows I'm near the area where I'm supposed to be, but not the exact area. So something is definitely not right. And so I'm just gonna backtrack to where I know I'm at and start over. This is probably gonna put me getting to camp later than what I want, but it's better than just wandering around lost. So stay tuned to see how this turns out. This whole scenario was pretty dumb and my own fault. So I'm back here at this gate where I was originally at. I came from that way. There's a blaze there on the tree on the right. And when I came down, I even stopped about right here where I'm at and looked back this way because I thought it was odd that there was a trail there. And then I seen this, and then I walked out and went right up to the road on the right and walked all the way back up to the top of that knob. Couldn't figure it out, came back, walked up the road, didn't see anything, walked down the road, didn't see anything. The map and the guidebook were confusing, so I came back on this side of the gate and looked, and right there on that tree is a blaze that you can barely see. Right there. So basically, I wasted at least an hour of hiking way out of my way and all kinds of other stuff when I could have probably already been to Lost Creek by now. But you got to keep your eyes open for those blazes, and I clearly missed that one. That was my own fault, and I definitely paid for that. And clear enough, this is what it should look like when you cross the road. You can clearly see the trail goes up on that side, and there's clearly a big diamond in the tree over there. I could have walked the road probably from that way and just came down instead of taking the trail over the hill, but it's all good. At least I did finish the, at least I did hike the trail. That way I got some at least that, so that way I can say that I've been like completed the whole thing. I didn't skip anything. But that just goes to show you, follow your gut. When I got up to the top of that other road over there, as soon as I couldn't find, well, really, as soon as I started the road, I didn't see any blazes, and that right there alerted me of my first mistake. And so I kind of had a feeling all the way up the road. And then when I got to the top, I walked around that whole clearing twice and just couldn't find an exit. So I knew I just needed to go back and start back to where I left the trail and retry, and it worked. And usually that works every time. People end up getting themselves in trouble and getting lost because they don't go back to a last known point, and that's the mistake. You always got to go back to a last known point that you know for sure. And it's let's see, it is 6:12. Sun hadn't gone all the way down yet. You can still see it shining in the tops of the trees up there, but it is getting pretty dark down here in the valleys. I'm figuring I have probably an hour and a half or so of daylight with about 2.5 miles left to go. So if it works out, I should be able to walk into camp right at dark. I have not hiked before. I have gotten up super early at like 4 in the morning and hiked in the dark, but I'm hoping that I don't have to do that this afternoon, and I can save the batteries in my headlamp for after dark, preparing food and stuff like that. So there's some wildflowers up here. Oddly enough, it hadn't gotten that cold. Watch is still saying it's 63 out. I know that's not right. It's probably, it's close, probably 58, 60, something like that, but it's supposed to drop down to like 48 tonight. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be a little colder up here, probably 40, 45. Maybe it's just a warm front pushing through with the rain and stuff we got coming. But if I'm not mistaken, either tomorrow or Friday, the high's not even gonna get out of the 50s. With the wind, that's gonna be 40-mile-an-hour wind. It'll feel like it's probably 30. And if it rains like it's supposed to, it should be interesting. Third time's a charm, right? So this is supposed to be another wildlife viewing area. This is the one that I thought I've been at twice now. Or wildlife feeding area, I'm not sure. Seems like a pretty promising place though. If I were to get a Tennessee hunting license next year, I've seen tons and tons of squirrels, and I ran into that hunter earlier. So he said there's definitely deer, bear, and hog out here in these woods. And I haven't seen a single other person other than him today. So this time of the year next year, I may consider a Tennessee license and do a couple-day trip up in here to hunt. I'll just have to check in to see how much the Tennessee license are going to cost, because I'm also planning to buy a Montana license next year. And so there's a blaze over there on that tree, so we're definitely headed in the right direction. I can't believe I did that earlier. Oh well. Darkness is already falling fast, but you can look back there at the horizon, and I'm about to lose the last little bit of sun. It will probably drop on down in the next few minutes and be completely below the horizon, and then the darkness will really start setting in. I'm gonna walk until I can't see to walk anymore before I get my headlamp out, and then I'll pull it out and walk on up into camp with the light. It's almost that time. Doesn't look like it in the camera, but it's pretty dark. This is a pretty cool little area that I'm in right here. Just taking a breather. Best I can guess, I've been looking at the miles wrong. So I'm about 12.5 miles in, but I keep forgetting that I hiked way out of the way. So I still got about probably 2 miles left, I guess. I think climb up a little bit more here and then descend off the backside down to the road, and then I got a little bit of a hike, like 0.1 of a mile to the right to Lost Creek. So I'm sure I'll be hiking in with a headlamp. Hope there ain't a whole lot of people at Lost Creek. I'm thinking there probably won't be, since it's in the middle of the week and there's some pretty heavy rain and wind supposed to be coming in tomorrow. So I'm hoping that it'll be empty and I can just walk right in there and get whatever side I want. But man, I can't wait to get my feet out of these boots, get a nice hot meal cooked up, and get in bed. I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. So I finally made it to camp. It took me almost an hour longer than what it should have. And this is an extremely dangerous campsite. There's fucking these big old walnuts that keep hitting the ground, but there's other people here at this campsite, so there's not much I can do. Luckily, I think that if they fall and hit the tent, they won't come through. Alright, so I got a couple chores I gotta get done. Coming down the hill a while ago, back way up that ridge, I could hear a dog barking, and so I figured there were going to be people here, and there are. But I gotta get my tent set up. I'm gonna go down and get some water, get some coffee going, get some food going, and then bed. So as soon as I get some of this stuff done, I'll come and show you guys what I'm gonna have for dinner. Okay, so what I've got here, coffee making. This is a MRE. It's a civilian grade military style MRE, chili macaroni and beef. It's got M&Ms and all kinds of stuff in it. First time I've ever had anything like this. First time I've had an MRE at all, ever. And not only did I get these military style ones, I got a bunch of these mountain house style MREs. I've got all of my breakfast for this trip is in these, and I got several of these ice cream sandwiches for snacks or sweets. And I'm not really sure how this works. I know it's got a heater in it. This looks like the chili and macaroni. So I'm assuming this is the meal here. Salt, spoon, grape jelly, M&M's, applesauce cake, little cleaning towel, crackers, and then of course the heater. So we're gonna see how this works. Got a so tear off top of bag, place MRE pouch and bag with heater. While holding MRE pouch and heater above lines on bag. Pour water on the bag until it reaches a level between the lines. Slide heater and MRE to bottom of bag and fold top of bag to side position heater. Just to hold this stuff up above the water. Add the water, don't overfill. Put everything back down in there. That stuff I'm not going to work because so it's placed on an angle, let it heat up. So this is how you will place it. Like this. grape jelly. I'll try these crackers for sure though. Well, they're definitely bland, but they're not bad. So those crackers weren't all that bad. I actually ended up eating them all. They were good. I don't know if it has anything to do with me being hungry or not, but this applesauce cake, I actually seen one of the guys I follow on YouTube, he was eating them recently, and they seem to be really good. I'm not a fan of applesauce to begin with, but we'll give it a go. It's almost like a piece of loaf bread. That is actually really good. I understand now why he saved it for breakfast. It would go perfect with a cup of coffee in the morning for breakfast. Having an issue with the heater working. I followed the instructions, but it's not heating up. So I guess after I finish my coffee, I'll cook the main part of the meal in this cup. I didn't bring my big pot because I wasn't anticipating on having to use it to cook. But it is what it is. As I said earlier, this is my first time trying the Mountain House, anything Mountain House. This is ice cream sandwich, ready to eat, just pull it straight out of the bag. I was actually surprised to find that it was wrapped like a real ice cream sandwich, and it actually looks just like a real ice cream sandwich. So, I'm gonna give this a go. So it actually does taste very similar to an ice cream sandwich. I mean, you can obviously tell that it's freeze dried, but so usually I don't buy all these MREs. I just go and piece together stuff that's cheap: noodles, ramen noodles, minute noodles, tuna, summer sausage. But also at the same time, I always find myself lacking the energy. Even after eating all that, the stuff that I was buying just didn't give me enough energy. There's like that one MRE is supposed to have like daily value in it, so, and then I've ate some extra stuff here, so I'm hoping I can go to bed tonight and get a good night's sleep, wake up tomorrow fully refreshed. So I ended up having to cook that chili mac. I could never get the heater to work. I'm not gonna give up on it yet. I think I did the heater wrong maybe, but I was still hungry, so I just went ahead and put it in my coffee mug and added a little bit of water, heated it up, added some of that salt, Tastes pretty damn good to me. It's starting to get cold. I'm just getting chilled sitting here, and I already took all my wet clothes and stuff off. Alright, so we got dinner cooked and everything ready, brought into the tent so that if it rains overnight or if the storm comes in overnight, then nothing's gonna get wet. That's part of the reason why I wanted to bring the bigger tent, so that there'd be enough room for me, the dog, and all the gear on the inside. Got a full belly, cuddled up in my bag. I'm pretty warm right now. Forgot to bring a pillow, so just using some of the clothes I had. I don't think it's gonna get too cold. It's like probably around 42, 43 right now. Might get down around 37, 38. Tried to get Lagatha to get in the bag with me. She wouldn't get in the bag with me yet, but the last time we went out she did, so. Anyways, folks, it's 10 o'clock. That's a wrap. Good night.